there for you. And I'll always stand by you. When the world has closed the door and you can't go on anymore, I'm always there for you. Yes, I'm always there for you. And I'm always there for you. Love is but a song we sing, fears away we die. You can make the mountains ring, make the angels cry. You know the bird is on the wing, you may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, trying to love one another right now. Some will come, some will go, and we will surely pass. When the one that left us here returns for us at last, we are but a moment's light, fading in the grass. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. If you hear the song I sing, you will understand. You hold the keys to love and fear in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both.
Well, good evening. Welcome to our parent orientation. Thanks so much for coming and just taking the time to be with us tonight. We're so glad to see your faces. We have been busy the last 6 weeks, have we not? Getting ready for school. I don't think I have ever had teachers up here starting on their rooms so early and getting prepared as we have this year. So they are excited to have your children, and we're just excited to see you guys again and get to know new faces. So thanks for coming. I know there may be a few people coming in late, which is totally fine. I have like so many things up here. I'm gonna forget something. It's okay. This is like, I'm gonna have a lot to go through, but It's casual, so this isn't like super formal. But I do have a lot of things, so I'll be looking at my notes a lot. Hoping to keep this to about an hour, might go a little bit over. We'll go through things as quickly as we can. Usually I can fly through this handbook really quick, but this year I am making myself slow down so we can go through it together to make sure everyone's on the same page. If you are watching at home, welcome. If you're live streaming with us, I am going to be, if you're at home, remember that you're going to be taking notes or points that I will be telling you as we go through. It's going to be really simple. So there will be 10 points that I am going to give you as we go through. So all you got to do is just grab a piece of paper, a notepad. You don't have to do that if you're here. But if you're at home, grab a piece of paper and I'll just say point number 1 and just write down what I say. And there will be 10 of those as we go through the handbook. So hope that makes sense. Okay, let's get started. Oh, other thing I was going to tell you, if you need something notarized, Ashley is right outside these doors, and she is happy to notarize that for you if you're a new family. If you haven't done that yet, go ahead and go on out because she's not going to stay for our whole meeting. So she'll stay for a couple more minutes if you need to go out and have something notarized. If you're at home and you come tomorrow for Meet the Teacher, we can walk you over and Ashley can notarize those papers for you if you're a new family. Let's pray first. Let's do that. Lord, thank you so much for the opportunity to come together live and in person tonight. Thank you for your grace and for just the opportunity to start this school year. We rely completely on you. We are dependent on you every day for all of the decisions we will have to make, the changes we're implementing, and just each day of school. We pray for your blessing and protection on this school year. So thankful for these ladies to do this with and these wonderful families. Just bless our meeting. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so 2 requirements, and I have a little clicker. Do I get to use my clicker, Jeremy? It's not. We practiced earlier. It did work earlier. But it's not now. Okay. Oh, there it goes. Good. Okay, so there are 2 requirements before your child can attend class. Number 1, attend this meeting. Good job, you're here, check. Number 1, done. If you're watching online, you're going to write down the 10 points that I'm going to go through and turn those into me. Number 2, the second requirement is you're going to sign the back of your parent handbook. The last page is an agreement form. So after we go through this tonight, if you don't have any questions and you want to sign that and turn it in out there, you can do that. If you have questions, you can ask me afterwards or we can talk about those tomorrow. I want you to get all your questions answered before you sign that. So those are just the 2 things you need to do. We're going to go through all of this together and you'll sign that and turn it in. Okay, I want to introduce our staff really quickly. Not all of them are here. Some of them are out there. A couple of them have littles and they couldn't get childcare, so they're watching with us live stream. But just when I call you out, if you'll stand up, you're not standing next to each other, but that's okay. Miss Lindsay and Miss Rachel are our Parents Day Out teachers, and they are taking care of our precious 1-year-olds this year. Then we have Miss Lori and Miss Laura, but they are out there working the table for me. They're teaching our 2s class, and our other 2s class is Miss Debbie and Miss Kaylee, who is at home with her little tonight. There's Miss Debbie. And then our 3s, we have Miss Megan, once again this year, and her teaching partners also at home with her little Miss Carly. And then we have Miss Snow, teaching pre-K4, and her partner, Miss Amanda, who's been in pre-K4 several years. She is a pro with the pre-Ks. And then we have Miss Rebecca, who I don't think is in here. She's at the table. She's doing our pre-K5 class. And Miss Kristen is with Miss Rebecca this year in pre-K5. And then, of course, our kindergarten class is Miss Kim, and her helper, Miss Vicky, is also out doing things outside. So those are our staff. I just want to thank them for all of the hard work that they have put into getting ready for this year already. It has been a lot, and they have worked so hard. In your folders, you're going to find your parent handbook. You also might find other things depending on which class your child is in. Some of my teachers asked if they could just go ahead and put their paperwork in the folder as well. So you might have something in there from Miss Rebecca if you're pre-K 5. You might have something in there about Wednesday pre-K if you're a pre-K. I think Miss Lori put some things in there. So if you don't have anything from your child's teacher, don't worry. I'm sure they have things to hand you tomorrow at Meet the Teacher, but you can take those home and look through those things. So those are just more specifics about your class. We will not, just a reminder if you're returning, we won't be going into classrooms after this. That's why we had our popsicles on the playground and other events, and we'll be having Meet the Teacher tomorrow. Did y'all like popsicles on the playground? I liked it. This is a really quiet crowd. Megan liked it, so we might do it again. You know, Megan's voice holds a lot of weight with me. So, tomorrow is Meet the Teacher. I have to remember to do my slides too. Meet the Teacher is tomorrow, and I want you to treat it like a practice run for the first day of school. So let them bring their backpack, let them bring their water bottle, their lunchbox, nap mats if you're in 2s and PDO, rest blankets or towels if you're in 3s and pre-K, diapers and wipes if you're in PDO. You're going to get to leave those nap mats here. You won't have to have all of that with you on the first day of school, but let them treat it kind of like a practice run. When you come in the morning, we will be doing temperature checks on the kids. It's a practice for me and Miss Elisa, and it's a practice for the kids too. So it's good not to have everything new and fresh on the first day. Normally we're going to be standing, we think, over at your parent doors as you come in, but tomorrow we'll be kind of over by my office. We'll have those doors unlocked, and you can just come in, and we'll greet you and kind of just make sure you know where to go and do a quick temperature check. And your teacher is going to show your child where to put their backpack, where their name is. So I think it'll really be good for them to have that, because remember, you won't be able to go into the classroom on the first day of school. But tomorrow, for Meet the Teacher, you can go in the classroom. Go in tomorrow. Get your pictures, get your picture with your teacher, do all of those things that you would normally do on the first day of school. Go into the classroom with your child so that they feel good and safe about going into the classroom, meeting their teacher there. So take advantage of all of that tomorrow. If you don't remember what time you're supposed to come, just ask one of your teachers, and they have their schedules. Okay, I think that is all about Meet the Teacher. Oh, for the people at home. See, there's so much up here, I'm going to forget something. Hopefully not. So if you're at home and you're taking notes on your piece of paper that you do need to turn in, so that's required, just write number 1, my child's name is, and whatever your child's name is that's attending LRA, or children that are attending LRA. So again, if you're at home, just write number 1, my child's name is, and whatever it is, and that's your first point that you are going to write down. Try to make it pretty easy. Okay, let's move on to page 1, the letter, which I'll just briefly touch on that. Again, you're going to turn your agreement form in. I just talked in this letter about adjustments, so if we need to make any adjustments, we will be communicating those to you as we go through the year. There are already a couple of little changes in the handbook that I'll talk to you about as we go through it. So being flexible is really important this year, just working together. Even if we don't agree on every single thing, just trying hard to extend grace and love to each other, and making this work as much as it is in our control to make it work. We will do it. I do have an open door policy for you to come in and talk to me. It's a little different this year. I love to chat with parents in the morning when they come in, so I don't like this either. I don't like it that you need to just come in and go and hug and kiss and drop your child and go. But if you need to talk to me, text me, call me. We can set up a time that we can meet when it's not crowded and it's not a drop-off, or we can step outside or something. So you can always talk to me if you have any questions or concerns. My cell phone is at the bottom of this page. You should have that in your phone. I don't mind if you text me. You can email me. I'm really not great at email. I'm a lot slower to respond to that. So if you've sent me something in email and you don't hear from me, you might text me and say, hey, did you get my email? And I will go find it. But please feel free to text me. That is the best way to get me to respond quickly. Okay, let's go on to page 2 and talk about tuition. On this page, if you are live streaming at home, your second point that you're going to write, number 2, is first tuition is due September 10th. First tuition is due September 10th. That's what you're going to write for your second point. It is due September 10th. Well, you'll see that's the first change that we've made. We are getting a makeover on our website, which is great, but it is in process right now, and Ashley is not sure it's going to be ready in time for me to do a September 3rd due date, which is what you see at the top there. So we're extending that 1 week. So for the first month of school, you don't have to have your tuition turned in until the 10th. It is normally due the first Thursday of every month. So I've put, if you're a planner and you like to put dates in your calendar, all the dates are right there, the first Thursday of every month. A $30 late fee applies if it is late. Just remember you're paying for the space reserved for your child, not your attendance. And so each payment is the same for all 9 months. It's not a different amount depending on how many days you're here. That would be very confusing for both of us. So it's 9 equal monthly payments from September through May. So paying tuition will look a little bit different this year. So we're still going to have our red tuition box. I normally have envelopes spread all over the counter, and you use the same envelope all year. Well, that's not as sanitary. So we're just doing one-use envelopes. So that box is going to be out in the commons when you come in the mornings, and if you want to pay cash or check, there will just be an envelope. You'll just write your family name and the amount, put your cash in, put your check in, and you can just put it into the red tuition box. So it's just a one-time use. What that means, though, is that I don't have the cheat sheet inside of the envelope. You're going to be like, how much is my tuition? I know it's January. I should know this, but I can't remember. And I have a little cheat sheet in there. Well, I can't do that because these are one-time use envelopes. So next to the tuition box is going to be a sheet that has the tuition prices. So you're going to have to add it up yourself if you have multiple kids. But everyone has a calculator in their phone, or you can, whatever your tuition is, you can put a note in your phone somewhere where you can find it. But if you can't remember, I'll have that sheet right there so that you can just look and see, oh yeah, that's how much pre-K is. So you will find your tuition prices right there. So if you want to write a check, you just make it out to Lake Ridge or LRBC. Just don't write Academy on the check. Our bank won't accept it if it says Academy. I will put a note out there so that to remind you of that. You just need to pay by 2 p.m. on the date listed above for that month. You can also pay online. Again, our website is getting a makeover, so I can't show that to you right now, but I will as soon as it's ready, which will hopefully be by the first day of school, and I'll probably send an email out with a link to show you how to get to the tuition if you want to pay online. You can pay credit or debit. That's a 3% charge to do that, or you can pay ACH, which stands for something I can never remember, but basically means it comes directly out of your checking account, and it's a 1% fee to pay that way. The online payment is up until 11:59 the night of the date of that month. So on the 10th, it will be up until 11:59, and then it switches off. So after 11:59, it's late, and you will need to add a $30 late fee to your payment and pay me the next school day by cash or check. So we do turn the online feature off on the end of the day that it is due. If you choose to withdraw your child at any time, just notify me as soon as possible if you're moving or your plans change, and the tuition will apply for the days that you already attended that month. Okay, I'm just double checking my notes. Oh, I know some people, a few people, like to pay for the whole year in advance. I'm going to say don't do that this year. Because if we have a situation where we have to close a classroom for a couple of weeks, or Lord forbid, we have to close the school for a time period. As I've stated in the handbook, there are no refunds for days missed if we have to do that. So I would feel better if you just paid monthly. I mean, if you want to pay for like 3 months in advance, some people like to do that, 3 or 4 months in advance, that's probably fine. But I do discourage you from paying for the whole year at one time, because this last year with the crazy, that was not expected. We were able to do some refunds, but we never usually do that. I think that is all for tuition. Okay, let's turn the page to morning drop-off. We're going to camp on this page for a little while because there are going to be some differences. If you're at home and you're writing notes for number 3, for your point number 3, if you'll just write one parent in the building. So your point number 3 is one parent in the building. So you can write that on your sheet. One parent in the building. Okay, so morning drop-off. Our doors open at 8:55, just our bullet points at the top. School begins at 9. We'll be doing a temperature check at the door. Parents are encouraged to wear masks. It is not required. One parent or adult entering the building, and drop off quickly and cheerfully. Okay, I hope you can see that. Okay, so when you arrive in the morning, what normally happens is your kids are really excited to be here, which is awesome, but they just kind of like crowd around the door. Like I can barely get the door open some days. So we need to form a line so that it is just a little bit more orderly, so that when we're doing temperature checks at the door, we're just doing one at a time and it's not just jumbled in everywhere. So that's why we're forming a line. So that is the front of our building where you come in. Some of you came in from in between the buildings because you parked over there. Just remember, you do park on the east side of the building where the portables are. So that's our doors. So we have 2 doors. It doesn't matter that one is labeled door 1 and door 2. I just labeled it that way. You will see there is an X on the steps on the right. So we don't want you to come up the steps. There's also a little set of steps right there with a smaller red X. So don't go up the steps. We want you to line up on the handicapped ramp where it has the word ramp right there. So we're just going to line up on the ramp before school. You'll also see on the left side in green a kindergarten fast pass, like Disney. It's like Disney when you're coming to Lake Ridge Academy. So the reason I have that is because kindergartners have a lot of work to get done. Miss Kim, I don't know. I mean, you better think twice. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. No, they really do. They get started like right away. So if they get stuck at the back of the line, it's just keeping them from getting their process going. Plus, having 2 ways coming in is also going to help us stagger a little bit. So if you have a kindergartner, you are able to come up as you go up the doors on the left-hand side. I'm probably going to have this like chalk on the sidewalk and stuff on the first day, so you'll see when you're out there. But kindergartners can line up right there on the steps, and Miss Elisa and I will be at the door, and we'll just be calling you one at a time. Good morning, quick temperature check, and you can go on into the building. Now, if there's no kindergartners there, then of course, anybody who's standing in line on the ramp will just be taking through both of those doors and just calling people one at a time. So hopefully that will go quickly. We've never done this before either, so we think this sounds like a good plan, but it might not be. We might do it the first day and say, that was a disaster, we have to change it, and that's okay. We're going to try it this way, and we're going to be flexible, and we're just going to see how it works. So, standing in line. Now, you don't have to stand in the line. You have a car with air conditioning. I don't understand. I know the kids are wanting to get to the door, but when it's hot outside, I'm like, I don't know why they're out there 10 minutes early, banging on the door. They are, but you can stay in your car. I'm not saying you don't have to come and stand in the line 10 to 15 minutes before I open the door. So as soon as that line starts moving, if you want to get out and get in line, you can. It's just a way to kind of create some order. So we're going to do temperature checks. I do ask that the kids stay with you. So as soon as you walk through those doors into the building, some of them, they're so excited to get here. They run ahead of you, but I am going to ask if they'll stay right with you in your vicinity and walk with you to class. Parents are encouraged to wear a mask while in line and in the building. Again, it is not required. Teachers will be wearing masks or shields during drop-off and pickup. Now, I was going to show you, so you may be asked to wait. So we're going to try to stagger our crowd in the hallway. So if we let people in, we're going to have walkie-talkies. Somebody will be down where they can see the hall, and they may say, Stephanie, just wait for a minute, because there's a lot of people in the hallway right now. So if you're in line, we may say, we have to hold on just for a minute. So if we do that, and as you're standing in line, don't stand like these people. Look, they're so crowded. These are all the teachers at our teacher meeting the other day. So see how close they are together? Don't do that. I know the kids are excited to get in and get in school, but just give some space. I'm not going to have dots outside on the ramp. I think that we've been all doing this for 6 months. I think you kind of got the 6-foot thing down. Just give yourself some space. See, they've given themselves some nice space right there. Everybody's going to get in. Everybody's going to, get to class. So we don't need to be in a hurry or push or rush. So just give each other some space if you are asked to wait. Okay, drop off quickly, cheerfully. No lingering in the hallway, and do not enter the classroom during school hours. We just ask that you do hugs and kisses at the door, happy and quickly. Your teachers tomorrow at Meet the Teacher are really going to be able to get, one-on-one, have some time with you to talk about the things that they're doing to try to make drop off and pick up faster this year. If you have a sad child, I get it. I always say, even before all of this COVID, you're torturing yourself. You're standing at the window watching your child cry, and you're crying. I promise you, these women love your children already, or they fall in love with them in a moment. And they are confident and competent, and it is okay to hug and kiss a crying child and hand him to Miss Lindsay, and she is going to take care of that baby. I promise you. And so you can't stand in the hallway and torture yourself at the window, which I think is a good thing. If you're just anxious about it, you can go exit and come back into the Commons and wait with me for a few minutes. If you're really concerned about this, and if you're watching online, if you're really concerned about this, talk to me at Meet the Teacher tomorrow. Talk to Miss Lindsay and Miss Rachel. Talk to Miss Debbie. Talk to Miss Lori. Those are usually the classes where we have the most crying, although sometimes we have crying in threes. But let's talk about it. Let's make a plan, not on the first day of school. Let's make a plan tonight. Let's make a plan tomorrow and talk that through. So if you're really concerned that you're not going to be able to handle it, let's talk it through and make a plan together. I want you to feel good about it and be prepared. We're going to have a one-way traffic flow. So if you look back up here again, this is another picture of our front. So you see over there people coming in up the ramp, kindergartners coming up their little special pathway. So we're all entering that building. So our building is like a U. You come in and you turn and you go down the preschool hallway, and then there is an exit door right there down by our kindergarten room and Miss Megan's room. So you're going to exit through that door, and if you'll go to the right, then we're keeping our traffic flowing in one direction. Again, we think this is a good idea. We'll see. So when you're inside the building, this is what it looks like on the left. There's your exit door going out, and there's some little steps that go down. So you're going to exit, go to the right, just go down those little steps. Of course, if you have a stroller, come back to the ramp. I'm not going to make you navigate the steps if you have a stroller. But this is just a general flow to keep everything moving quickly. I already said you will not be allowed to enter the classrooms, but you will tomorrow, so take full advantage of that. If someone different is picking up your child on a school day, be sure to let us know that. You can let your teacher know. You can let me know, and there will be a clipboard in the Commons where you can write your child's name, who's picking up. They've never picked up before. They're a new person, so we're going to be looking for them. If your child is going to be absent, we really do want to know. Just text your teacher, call me, let us know. They're going to be asking me if all of their littles are not here. And if you arrive late, you'll just need to text me. Our doors remain locked all day. So once I walk away from that door, it's locked behind me. So if you're late coming, you'll just need to text me to get in. And I'm just looking through my notes. I think I covered everything. Okay, so that is morning drop-off. That's our plan. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, drop-off and now pickup at 2 o'clock. So 2 p.m. is pickup, and we just, again, same thing. We want to keep our hallway traffic moving quickly, so please don't stop and chat. I don't like it either. I love to chat with you at the end of the day. I love for you to chat with your teachers and your other mom friends at the end of the day, but right now, we need you to pick up quickly and move through. And if you want to stay and talk to other families, you are welcome to do that outside if you would like to. So at the top of that page, on page 4, our doors open at 1:50. And pickups at 2. If you're late, after 2:10, there is a late fee. Now, let me say, again, we haven't done this before. We are going to stagger our hallways. Just like in the morning, if it's really crazy, we may ask you to wait a few minutes at the door. Obviously, we're not going to charge you a late fee if we're holding you back and making you wait. I don't know how this is going to go and how fast it's going to go. We will see. One parent or adult entering the building. Picking up quickly, moving outside to chat with other families if you like to do that, and communicating with your teacher by text, phone, email, or waiting until all the other children have been picked up. Those are kind of the highlights of this page. There is a $10 late fee if you are late. It increases by $10 every 10 minutes, so at 2:20 it's $20, at 2:30 it's $30. But let me say, if you have a flat tire, just call me. I'm not going to charge you a late fee if you're on the side of the road. This is really intended for people who are abusing the system, so to speak. So just do your best to get here on time. Our teachers do have children at school that they have to go pick up, so we want to honor their time and be on time. Frequent late pickups can result in dismissal, so just communicate with us. If you're at home and you're doing your page and you're writing down your points, for number 4, just write pick up quickly and exit the building. Your point number 4 is pick up quickly and exit the building. Pick up quickly and exit the building. Conversations with teachers need to be brief, which can be difficult. Sometimes there are things you need to talk about. Sometimes there are things they need to tell you. So you can text, you can call them, you can email. But if you have something you want to discuss with your teacher after school, or if your teacher has something she wants to discuss with you, she might text you at 1 o'clock or something and say, hey, do you have a couple of minutes to stay after school and talk to me? And if you do, then she might say, well, okay, just wait until like 2:05, 2:10 to come, because most everybody's going to be gone at that point. And as soon as my last child has been picked up, you can come into my room with your child and we can have a discussion about whatever we need to discuss. So just the rule about not being in the classroom is when other children are there. So at the end of the day, once everyone else has been picked up, you can go in the room if you need to and have a conversation with your child's teacher, or y'all can step outside if you want to and have a talk if you're more comfortable with that. So we do want to make sure you get to communicate with your teacher. And just don't stop and chat with other parents. Again, a lot of kids after school play in this grassy area. If you want your kids to play with other kids that way, or you want to talk to other parents, we're not going to kick you out. So you are welcome to chat that way. Okay, I think that is it for page number 4 for afternoon pickup. Page 5 is about our security procedures. So if you're new, you had a new family packet to fill out. If you're not here tonight, you can bring that tomorrow. And it has a security release list on it. And you will also need to know your password. So we need to know who is allowed to pick up your child and your password. So if you're writing down points at home, if you'll write number 5, know your password. Number 5, at home, the point for you at home is number 5 is know your password. The security release list, I have those in front of me if somebody different is picking up. And we will stop and make sure the correct person is picking up. This is going to be so fun in masks. Like getting to know new families. I was thinking about that the other night. Like, could you just real quick? Like, oh, okay, I know it's you. So we may ask you to do that. We'll ask for your password if we can't readily identify you. So just please don't be offended by that. We're learning a lot of new families at the beginning of the year. So thank you for helping us. Again, there's going to be a clipboard in the commons area. So if grandma is picking up, especially for the first time, if you'll write that down, I want to know who to be looking for. She's not going to know where to go. She's not going to exactly know what to do, and your teacher may not know her. So I'm going to need to walk her, check out, make sure I know who she is, and then walk her to Miss Kim's class and introduce her so that Miss Kim's like, oh, okay, this is Corali's grandma. So anyway, we will take the time to do that. We'll look at picture IDs and ask the people passwords, walk them to the classroom. If someone's picking up who's not on your list, like you have an emergency and no one is available and your neighbor's coming, just call me or text me. Call me. Probably that's better. Call me and let me know who it is, because I won't have a picture ID to look at because she's not on your list, but she'll have your password. So if you tell me her name and she knows your password, we'll be good to go. I will walk her to the room to meet up with your child. If there's anyone who is not allowed to pick up on your list, please let us know that as well so that I know that, Miss Elisa knows it, and your teacher knows it. By the way, I don't think I said this. Miss Elisa, if you've been with us for a while, has been in pre-K 4. She is coming out of the classroom on Tuesdays and Thursdays to be my assistant for LRA, but also for children's ministry things that we do here at church. But she'll be in the classroom on Wednesdays teaching Wednesday pre-K. We made that plan back in January. Little did I know, there is no way I could do this year without an assistant. So God knew, and I'm very thankful that she's going to be helping me temperature check your children in the morning. Not really, but she's great. So I'm very happy to have her with me on Tuesdays and Thursdays out of the classroom. Okay, I think, new family packet. So if you're new, you're doing that. You're getting that notarized. You're filling out your form. If you're returning, you don't have to fill it out again. But what I'm going to do tomorrow at Meet the Teacher is I'm going to have your security list out. So when you come in, I'm going to have you look at that and verify. Are all those people still people that you want on your pickup list? The phone numbers, driver's license. There's an emergency part at the bottom. If something happened to your child, who should we call first, second, third? So I want you to make sure that's all filled out correctly. So tomorrow when you come, if you're returning, I will have those for you. And if it's just a big old mess because you've been here 3 years, I'll got a fresh copy and we can start over. So we want to make sure we have all of that information correctly. Okay, health policies. The fun stuff. Really, the next 3 pages, health policies, COVID policies, and our hygiene and cleaning are kind of all one part. It's just kind of divided up into 3 things, but they really all go together, of course, especially this year. So you want to make sure you understand our health policies. Do not bring your child to school if they exhibit any of the following symptoms. Conversely, they will be sent home if they exhibit any of the symptoms during the school day while they're here. Teachers, staff will also be following these exact same guidelines as well. So, the list. Fever-free, greater than or equal to 100 degrees, fever needs to stay home. Honestly, if your child's got a 99.5, I'm starting to question and ask questions what's going on, but some people run a little bit higher, so definitely at 100, we're not coming to school. You need to be fever-free without medication for 24 hours before returning to school. That means you don't give them ibuprofen the night before and then, they're good this morning and they can come to school. They need to be fever-free without any meds for 24 hours before returning to school. No vomiting, nausea, diarrhea, even associated with teething. I've done that in the past. Moms have brought littles and they're like, it's just teething. And then the next day she called me, actually, she had strep throat. and we let her come to school. So even if it's associated with teething and you're sure about that, they still need to stay home if any of those things are going on. Free of those things for 24 hours before returning to school. Cough, congestion, green, yellow running noses. If your child suffers from seasonal allergies, talk to us about it so we're aware of that, and we just need to have a conversation about that. Difficulty breathing, shortness of breath, shaking, exaggerated shivering and chills, skin infections, staph infections, boils, ringworm, rashes, sore throat, an aching head, significant muscle pain, exhaustion, pink eye, any eye infection. You need to be on medication for eye infections at least 24 hours before coming back to school. Loss of taste or smell. Okay, so I didn't make all these up. Like, I took our health policies and the CDC guidelines and put them all together in here. So a child is probably not going to be able to communicate losing their taste or smell. Maybe they can. That's really more likely an adult thing, but it's part of the list, so I put it in there this year. Let me say, yes, I still have fever-free for 24 hours without meds for returning, because I did not blow up our health policy. This is our normal health policy. Why did I do that? Because we're still going to have strep throat, and we're still going to have the flu, and we're still going to have all the things, all the fun things. So I did not want to decimate what was already in place. I wanted to marry it with the guidelines that are there for COVID. So if your child is sick at home, normally I would probably just say to you, okay, we'll just make sure that they're completely well, no symptoms, fever-free for 24 hours before they return to school. Now, I'm going to say that, but I'm going to ask more questions than that. Have you called your doctor and talked to your doctor? Does your child have any other symptoms? Sometimes kids get just fever, for 2 days, and then it's gone. Who knows? I mean, it's a riddle. But we are going to take every case of sickness and look at it independently and ask a lot of questions before you're returning to school. Please be aware, in the middle of the page, you may be required to provide a note from your doctor indicating your child is not contagious and is able to come back to school. Again, that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. I will make that call if I feel like we need to have that. So just be aware of that. I normally did not do that in the past. If your doctor prescribes an antibiotic, like for strep or something like that, they need to be on it for at least 24 hours before returning to school. They need to be able to participate in outdoor activities. They can't stay inside while everyone else goes outside because there's not an extra staff person to just sit with your child. So for your child to come back to school, they need to be able to do our outdoor activities. If they appear ill during school, they come to school, everything's happy, everything's fine, and at some point during the day, they start to exhibit some symptoms and start not feeling well, we will call you immediately. A decision to send a child home is at my discretion, at my decision. Have I made mistakes before? Yes, I have. But I try to err on the side of caution. I do not want to call you up here to get your child if there is not a need, but I am trying to be very, very, very careful. So I hope that I'm not wrong and I don't send your child home and you're like, they're fine. But I have made mistakes, but I try to be very careful. We do not have clinic facilities, so you will need to pick up your child within 30 to 45 minutes once you're called. Please have a backup person who can get your child if they become ill at school and you're more than 45 minutes away. If you're writing notes at home, points number 6 is I will make a backup plan. Number 6 is I will make a backup plan. Everyone raise your right hand. No, just kidding. No, do. Seriously, if you know you're going to be on the west side of Fort Worth all day long at a meeting, you can't get here in 30 to 45 minutes, probably. You need to think about that. I know some of you work while your kids are here, which is awesome, but is there someone that is within 30 to 45 minutes who can get your child? They cannot sit up here for an hour and a half sick and we're trying to isolate them, and we don't have a nurse here. We don't have clinic facilities. So please think that through, where you're going to be, how far away you're going to be, and if you have someone else on your list that can pick up your child if they're sick. On your list for security, your security release list, it has at the bottom contact people, like the order that you want us to contact people if your child gets sick at school. We don't give medication at school unless it's life-threatening, like your child has an EpiPen for a peanut allergy or something like that. And if that's the case, we'll get with you one-on-one, make sure everything's in order in the backpack, both teacher and we know about it. So those are the basic health policies. Let me look over here. Just going along with the health policies, we all have to take responsibility for our health and our children's health. And it's easy to say that, but when it comes down to it and you have something to do, sometimes it's easy to just try to push through. Teachers have a tendency to want to just push through. Like, I can make it to the end of the day. I have a migraine, but I'm just going to push through. Or I'm starting not to feel good, but I need to push through in the past. But we can't do that. We can't do that anymore. My son is in college, and there is a girl there that we know who got sent home, and there was somebody on her hall who was sick. She was sick for 2 or 3 days and wasn't feeling well, and she didn't want to tell anybody. So there she is on the hall in the dorm. Finally told somebody, positive. So all the girls on her hall had to go home. She should have told someone right away. You know, we don't want to go down that road sometimes. We want to pretend like it's not happening. So sometimes in the past, parents, I know you're not going to believe this, but they've sent their children to school and they had a fever the night before and they just gave him ibuprofen. I know, it's crazy. It happens. But don't do it. We can't do that anymore. It's convenient. It is a bummer. It's pumpkin day, and they have a fever the night before. It's a bummer. But we have to take responsibility. We have to be overly cautious, especially now. So I'm just asking you, we've all got to work, all of us have to work together to do that. I think that is all for this page. Let's go on to COVID policies. This is such the fun part. So these policies, a lot of this is just straight out of the CDC guidelines. So many guidelines that we researched this summer. It's a compilation of many things. So I will not read all of this to you. I know that you can read, but just know we're going to temperature check at the door. And please do not bring your child to school if they have been in known close contact with anyone who's positive in the last 14 days. If there's a confirmed case, I will tell everybody in the whole school, and I'll tell what class it's in. I'm not going to say, it was so-and-so. That's not, we can't really do that for HIPAA, but you will know what class if there is a positive case. Those 3 things in the up there at the top, an individual test positive, they can return to school when all 3 are met. 3 days since recovery, without fever-reducing medicine, they have significant improvement in symptoms, and 10 days have passed since the start of symptoms when they first appeared. If a child or staff member lives with someone who's exposed to a confirmed positive case, we'll ask them to stay out in quarantine for 14 days to monitor for symptoms. And if there is a sibling in another classroom, of course, they would also need to stay out as well. If a classroom needs to close, I will make that decision. It is possible a classroom would need to close for 14 days, if there's a positive case, or if there's exposure in some way and we're watching for symptoms. We will look at the information pertaining to that specific situation to make those decisions. It's possible the entire school would need to close for a period of time if classes can't be adequately staffed or if there are several cases of sickness in the school. If a classroom or the school is closed for a period of time, no refunds for tuition will be provided for missed days. It's a shared risk. I mean, we're all taking a risk in doing this, and I'm thankful we're doing it. And I assume if you're here, you want to be here and are willing to take an amount of shared risk as well. We are in classrooms with children. You are sending your children with other children, and you're also taking a financial risk in that I can't refund every time if we close, and it would just be a complete mess. So I try to be really transparent at the end of July. That's how it was going to be. So hopefully if you're here, you're already aware of that and you are willing to take that risk as well with us. We're going to do this one day at a time. We're going to do it one situation at a time. We're going to pray. We're going to pray every single morning to start our school day. And it would be great if you're in the car on the way here, if you would be praying too. We want to cover our school year and our kiddos in prayer. We're going to work together. We're going to be honest in our communication with each other and flexible and willing to adjust and change these things as we go along if they're not working, if we need to adjust something. We are going to encourage you to consult with your child's doctor. I mean, that's the first thing I'm going to ask you if your child's sick is, have you called your pediatrician? What are they saying? What are they recommending? I mean, maybe they've seen 20 stomach bugs in their office that week, and you describe it, and they're like, that's the stomach bug. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying what they should or shouldn't do. I'm just saying I'm going to very, very, very much encourage you to communicate with your pediatrician. We want to be very mindful and aware of the possibility of a child having COVID if they're displaying symptoms, or a staff member. But we don't want to jump to hasty or panicked conclusions, because we know we're still going to have all of the normal colds, seasonal allergies, who's already got them, sore throats, strep throats, flus, stomach bugs, all of the good stuff. So we know that we're still going to have that, so we want to look at each case individually. So that's how we're going to handle it. All right, let's move on to page 8, our hygiene and cleaning. There's one change on this page in the middle. I thought we were going to use spick and span, but now I'm not so sure. I don't think it's a good preschool cleaner, now that I've done a little more research, now that Rebecca Goodwin has done a little more research for me. So we are still looking at, we have Clorox cleaner to start the year. We just like to have a spray cleaner. We usually use Odoban it's a concentrate, and we dilute it. So we have Clorox to start the year. Don't worry about that. But I'm investigating. I'm investigating some other options. So I will definitely keep you up to date on the cleaner that we end up landing on, or the cleaning system we end up landing on. But all of this is pretty self-evident. We're going to be cleaning all our common areas. We have sanitizing stations. We teach the kids good hand hygiene. We cover cuts that come open if they're scratching a bug bite. We don't share towels or blankets. That's why we put them in separate bags. We use paper towels, not cloth towels. Masks. Children are not required to wear a mask. They can. If you would like to send them with a mask, that is totally fine. If you have been working with your child on training them, we can't train them. We just don't have the bandwidth to train children in this school day, in this preschool environment, to wear a mask. But if you have been training them and want to encourage them to wear a mask, that's absolutely fine. Teachers as staff will be wearing masks or shields at drop-off and pick-up. Also encouraged to wear them in the classroom. They're not required to wear them the entire school day. Restrooms and potty training, we'll be cleaning our restrooms, of course, as we normally do. I've asked the teachers who do diaper changes to wear, of course, they always wear gloves, but to wear a mask or a shield as well when they're doing that. We don't share, obviously, food and drinks. This year, we're separating our classes, so normally, like playground time, maybe the 3s class will go out and pre-K will be out there. Well, we have separate playground times. We have separate stretch and grow times. When we come to chapel, which is really the only large group activity we're doing, we're able to distance in here by class. So we are separating our classes that way, except for pre-K. Pre-K 4 and pre-K 5 come together on Wednesdays anyway. So that is the only class that will be going on the playground together, and they won't be separated. But every other class is just working within its own classroom this year. So no large group events, which make us sad. No Thanksgiving family dessert. No Christmas program is on our calendar. I pray that changes as we go forward and we can do something in the spring. We're going to keep praying and keep just up to date on what's happening. But for the fall, we have not planned any large group activities. Okay, let's move on to page 9. We're going to really fly through all of this stuff. If you're at home, your point number 7, we're on page 9. Point number 7 is communicate with your teacher. Point number 7, if you're at home, is communicate with your teacher. This page and the next page have a lot of information about our classes and things we do. There's our weather policy at the top. We're closed if any of those school districts are closed. Of course, I text you, I email you. We do fire drills. We're going to do that individually by individual classes this year. We talk about tornadoes. We don't do a tornado drill and make them get down. We don't do that. So we have a plan for a tornado that we know and understand, but we don't want to scare children with talking about tornadoes. Communicate with your teacher. So if your child, we get to know your children, and so when they're off, we can see it. So communicate with us. If there's something going on at home, if there's I don't know, it could be anything. Maybe you're like trying to adopt, or maybe you're about to have a baby, and we can tell when things start they just start acting different or acting out in the classroom. Sometimes it's acting out, sometimes it's being really, really quiet. We want to get to know you and your family, so just encourage you to communicate with your teacher if there's anything going on. Always in this section, Miss Regina always said, don't believe everything your child comes home and tells you about their teacher, and we won't believe everything your child tells us about you. You know, preschoolers are wonderful, and they have imaginations, and we listen to them. It's not that we don't believe them, but we take it with a grain of salt. So if you hear something come out of your preschooler's mouth, you're like, I'm going to ask your teacher about that. Please do. Please do. But sometimes they're maybe not the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I don't know. Progress reports for pre-K and kindergarten, you can read through that. Your teachers are going to cover that with you. And on the next page, just talks about rest time. Again, your teachers individually in the classroom are going to cover whether you have one of those or not. Chapel, again, is the only large group activity right now that we have on the calendar. We do that once a month on the second Thursday. Stretch and Grow, we do that twice a month in a big room that we have upstairs. It's like a large motor skills nutrition class. We've been doing it for several years. The coach that we have, Coach Robin, we love her. They will be cleaning. They're going to be bringing a minimal amount of equipment like balls or other equipment they use in the class, and they'll be cleaning and disinfecting any equipment they bring in between each class. So we're still going to get to do Stretch and Grow, which we're happy about. Okay, next page is parent responsibilities. Again, these pages just talk about things you are responsible for. So backpacks, of course, they'll all have one. Please put a change of clothes in your child's backpack in a Ziploc bag. You can just throw it down in the bottom of the bag for the fall and leave it. Underwear, clothes, like not just the bottoms, top and bottom, and socks. Think about it. We always need the socks. Even in kindergarten, things do happen. Sometimes they even just spill something all over themselves and they need a change of clothes. Every class, please put a change of clothes in the bag and just leave it there. Lunchtime, water bottles. Again, your teachers will talk to you about water bottles. Make sure you label them. Suggested clothing, you can wear what you want. We wear flip-flops. It's not a problem, but we do go on the playground, and so if you have a little girl that doesn't like getting, things in her toes, then wear closed-toed shoes. But you can wear whatever you want. Just remember, we go on the playground, we get dirty, we paint. Please don't send your child to school in anything precious that you would not want to get any dirt on, because we do get dirty. Next page, personal belongings. Just show and tell is great to bring something from home, but other than that, please leave toys at home. It is hard they want to show their friends, but then it's really hard to share. We can't guarantee that things won't get broken. So normally if somebody brings something to show, the teacher will just show it and then say, okay, it's going to go to sleep in your backpack, or it's going to go live in your backpack for the day, or your cubby, or whatever. So just try to discourage the bringing of toys from home. And 3s, pre-K kindergarten, you're going to have a folder in your backpack. Please check that every day. Everybody check your child's backpack every day for things that are going to come home. Oh, and you know what? I missed number 8 if you're at home. Number 8 is just label everything. I was looking at the water bottle. That's a lot of water bottles. So please label everything. Number 8, if you're at home, is label everything. Thank you. Okay, special occasions. This just talks about birthdays, holidays, school pictures. That'll be later in the spring. Field trips. Again, your teacher will talk to you about that individually. We have our parents come with us when we do things like that. We don't put them on a bus or a van or anything like that. One thing I will say about birthdays, and that's your point number 9 if you're at home, is celebrate birthdays with store-bought treats. Celebrate birthdays with store-bought treats is number 9 if you're at home. Most of you normally do that anyway. You bring cupcakes, has the ring in it, for little girls, whatever. There are lots of things you could do. You could do donuts. That's a fun thing to do in the morning, donut holes. They really don't eat the whole cupcake that you bring. They just lick the icing off and maybe take a bite. Mini cupcakes are really so much more proportionate for this age. That's up to you, but that would be my suggestion. Mini cupcakes for a birthday. You could bring cookies. You can bring donuts, donut holes. They love that. Little Debbie cakes or a little candy to share something. But we do ask for this year that you bring store-bought treats for birthdays. Okay, next page. Special concerns. This is basically, we want to deal with all discipline-related or correction of things in a positive and loving way. We're encouraging children to learn positive and good behaviors and respect for each other and for adults. Our goal is never to punish a child for poor behavior. Again, we talked about crying a little bit earlier. If you have concerns about that, stay and talk to me after, or let's talk tomorrow at Meet the Teacher. Down at the bottom, it just kind of breaks down what we do, how we, the process that we go through if we need to talk through any issues that are going on behaviorally or physically, obedience issues, one-on-one. We will use timeouts if necessary. Privileges can be taken away, but we would never take away food, lunch, or a special treat like a birthday treat that someone brought. We would never do that. If the problem continues, sometimes they bring them down to talk to me. Sometimes that is completely ineffective. Sometimes, it works. So we will definitely notify you if that happens. And if it continues, we may have you come and sit down and us all talk together so they can see we're on the same page, make a plan together. That's just the bottom line is if there's anything going on, we want to partner with you to work together to try to work it out and make a plan. We want your child to see that we're on the same page with you. So we definitely want to strategize with you if there's anything going on. Just remember that any of this in the middle of the page, like continuous biting, scratching, hitting, yelling, running away, any of that applies obviously child to child, but also child to teacher. So if a child is continually like hitting a teacher or running away, we will definitely sit down and talk together. We never want to withdraw a child, and we will work with you as much as we can. But it has happened occasionally that it was just too aggressive. We have to think about the safety of all the kids in the class. So again, our goal is to work with you on correcting any behavioral issues. Okay, I'm not going to read the biting policy. If you are in twos or PDO, I would like for you to read that on your own, make sure you understand. It's never been like a big issue here, but it does happen sometimes. So I find that parents who have the biter are embarrassed about it, of course, but they also feel kind of helpless about it. Like, well, they weren't there. Like, what can you do? I mean, you're not in the classroom. So I get it, and we want to work with you on that. So please make sure if you have a 1-year-old or 2-year-old, even 3s, it really would be good just to make sure that you understand our biting policy. Okay, page 16, information sources. Okay, so I highly, highly, highly encourage you to sign up to get Remind Text. It's very easy. You just send a new text to 81010, and you just type in the message at LRA20. I hope I'm not telling a story. I don't over-text. I don't send you a text every day. I promise I won't. I really try to send them out when they're needed to remind you of things. Tuition, I always send them around tuition time. Just remember, tuition is due today if you haven't paid it. Remember, it's red t-shirt today, or whatever it might be. I really try not to overuse that. So I encourage at least one parent to sign up. Grandparents people who pick up and drop off a lot, like a grandparent who's regularly involved, welcome to sign up for this if they would like to. It'll help keep them informed if they're regularly involved in that. Again, this has never happened before. But if I had to get information to you quickly about an emergency, that's the first thing I'm going to do is send a text. I don't know that I can get to my email that quickly. The way I email you is through our system in our website, so I have to go through a little bit of a process to send you an email, but I can text you, and I always have my phone in my pocket. So I really do encourage you to please, at least one person in your family, sign up to get my text. I do email as well. I will communicate that way. I know some people love email. Facebook, new this year during COVID. There were things that happened during COVID that we did, and they were like, I actually really like that. We're gonna keep doing that, and we like our Facebook page. So we're gonna keep posting on our Facebook page. Some of you will see things that way, and so we're gonna keep doing that. There's a TV as you come in. You'll see by our welcome desk that we're gonna scroll slides on that daily with just reminders of things that are coming up. You'll have a monthly classroom calendar from your teacher. It's posted outside of her door, but you'll also have it in your folder each month, letting you know what's going on in your classroom. Normally, I would have a cute little fall calendar to give you, but you know what? We're not doing any large group activities, so there really wasn't a need for that. So these are all the dates below at the bottom of the page. It includes tuition, stretch and grow days, our chapel days, which we wear our red shirts. Red shirt day is optional. I have red Lake Ridge Academy t-shirts out there to sell for $5. I will have them tomorrow. $5 cash, or you can write a check if you would like to. It's totally optional, but a lot of kids and we wear our red shirts just to kind of celebrate our school. One day a month, we have red shirt day. We will have Pumpkin Day where they can dress up if they would like to, but again, all of the activities will be with their class. Of course, we'll celebrate Thanksgiving in the classrooms and Christmas in the classrooms, and there are our breaks. Thanksgiving break and Christmas break are also noted on there if you want to put those in your calendar. So those are our information sources. The last page is the agreement form. So if you would like to sign this tonight, you can. If you have more questions, I'm happy to talk with you before you sign it. Let's just make sure that we all understand that middle part and the second and the third part right there. Just please make sure you read that through, understanding what you're signing. So again, if you have any questions, let me know. And if you're at home, your last point that you're going to write down is turn in this list and this agreement form. So number 10 is turn in this list and this agreement form. You're just going to tear this off from the back of your parent handbook to turn it in so you can keep your handbook. You can turn in items tonight. There's a little yellow tray right outside this door where you can drop these if you would like to. You can also bring things to me tomorrow. Tomorrow's a great day because you are signed up to come all throughout the morning and early afternoon. So we would have time to talk tomorrow. Tomorrow's a great day. If you have questions, if you need to turn things in. The first day is going to be probably not a great day to try to take me aside and talk to me or hand me paperwork. So in the afternoon of the first day, I'll probably have t-shirts for sale again, but in the morning, we're going to be focusing on temperature checking and the hallway congestion, and this is the first time we've done this. So again, if you're coming from Meet the Teacher tomorrow, that is going to be the best time for you to hand me items or ask me questions. Again, I'm going to stop you tomorrow if you're here, and if you're returning, have you double check your security release list. Shirts will be on sale tomorrow, and that's it. Hey, it's 8:06. That's not bad. That is not bad. What did I forget, Kim Harper? Yes, thank you, kindergarten. Okay, so when you pick up, if you're in kindergarten, I want you to listen to what Miss Kim says about pickup. Don't pick up your kindergartner. Don't come at 1:50 to pick up your kindergartner, because Miss Kim is not done with them until 2 o'clock. She does not open that door. So here's the deal. I will mention at pickup, I will open the doors at 1:50. So I have instructed all of my teachers to be ready to release your child at 1:50 as much as they can be. It's preschool. Have a little grace, because sometimes that doesn't always go as planned, getting it from nap time. But we're going to do our best so that if you're one of those people who likes to be here at 1:50, they'll be ready to go. Because if I let you in at 1:50 and they're not ready to go, what are you going to do? You're going to be standing there in the hallway at the window, and then we're going to have this big congestion of people in the hallway, and then people outside, I'm going to have to make them wait, and they're going to be like, it's so hot. So they're going to do their best to have your kids ready to go at 1:50. 2 o'clock is pickup time. You can come at 2 o'clock. But I'm just saying, some of you I know like to come a few minutes early. So hopefully that'll stagger our time a little bit. But kindergarten, don't come at 1:50. Don't come at 2 o'clock or 2:05, because they're just there. They fit so much into one day. We do want to drop off and pick up quickly. Anybody go to Trader Joe's? Am I the only one that goes to Trader Joe's? They make you wait outside, which is fine. It's totally fine. But you're out there, and you're in the line, and you're looking in, and then when you're checking out, their checkers are so chatty. They're so nice at Trader Joe's. They're chatting with you, which I really appreciate. But then I'm looking over out the window, and there's people out there standing in the heat, and I'm like, okay, don't chat with me. You need to chop. Come on, these people are hot out here. Well, that's the same thing. If you're lingering in the hallway, there are people out there standing in the heat that I'm making wait. So working together on making this flow quickly, picking up and dropping off quickly, if we work together, I know we can do it. It's gonna take a few days, and we're gonna either blow up our plan completely, or we're going to get in the flow and do it. So I think that's it. If you have something you really would like to communicate with me tonight, if you have concerns about dropping off your child and how that's going to go, I invite you to come down here in the front and stay if you would like to, or if there's anything pressing that cannot wait for tomorrow. But again, I'm happy to talk to you tomorrow. And I think that's it. Did I miss anything? No? Okay, good. Okay, thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate you. You can drop off any paperwork in the yellow little box right outside the store. Thank you.